Looks like Coach Mike is going to start us off here first.
In the Warrior organization, they give out an award called the Hardnose, and they make that their MVP. We changed that because we wanted the Hardnose to be its own special category. And this award goes to one tough kid. When Coach Mike told me 2 years ago that he had a kid that he wanted me to see, that we were thinking about bringing onto our team, I left work early and drove to the high school to watch the practice. And I get there, and I'm tired, I'm sitting in traffic. I get there, and he's on the sidelines playing the air drums. And he looks like he's singing to himself or something. And I called Mike and I said, who's this kid you wanted me to go watch? I mean, are you kidding me? It seemed like a big waste of time. Well, I was wrong. Football is a physical sport. And every team needs a hard-nosed kid. And this kid is unique in that he has absolutely no fear. He doesn't fear anybody. Any team, I don't care what city we went to, who we were playing, he doesn't care. He's absolutely fearless, which is good and bad. But he's just one tough kid. So we separated this award out just for him. And I'll let Coach Mike.
You know, some of you've got teenage boys, and they like you too. And there's one in particular, I think it has 100 million hits. It's about the honey badger. And the honey badger doesn't care. So for the Hardnose Award, and our top honey badger, Thomas Anderson.
The next award is our defensive MVP. And so, as coaching the defense, I have to decide to play what position and what defense we're going to play. And this is the kid that we built our defense around. And he's one of the few kids. I pride myself on trying to be as prepared as possible. But this is one of the kids, the only kid, that I would ever go over to and say to him, well, what do you think? Which is a big compliment. Because this kid would prepare himself. He would watch video on his own. He would watch other teams play. And I hope he remembers me when he signs that big NFL contract one day. Two-time PYFL All-Star. In a couple of weeks, he's going to be playing in the Junior All-American Bowl at the Home Depot Center. Just a fantastic player, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to coach him. Our defensive MVP goes to Mason Holloway.
One thing in life learned is never make assumptions, right? I all agree on that. And one thing that makes me every year coaching sports is, as a coach, you know, a lot of times you don't make that assumption. People size people up really quickly, right? Size a kid up, and you put them into a mold. Oh, this kid will play here. This kid maybe doesn't have the athletic ability, but this kid does. Happens every single year. Somebody you didn't think about, amazes you. And somebody you maybe thought was going to be everything, who maybe didn't perform to that expectation. But when I first met this kid, I think he wanted to be a quarterback. Really couldn't even get in the stance, basic football stance, and which is okay with me because that's my challenge as a coach. And it was really fun to watch his progression, going from just really couldn't get in the stance to the end of the year, starting the last 3 games, and it's really what coaching is all about. And I'm really proud of the most improved players, Brady Anderson.
It's not even. This goes back to the conversation with Mike Smith that I was talking about earlier, about the kid that we kind of have. I'm uninterested. 9 years ago, he was one that I would go ask questions to. I'm out of drills, what do I do? They would leave the lineman over in the corner for an hour and a half out of a 2-hour practice, and he'd run out of the drills to do. And I'd go to Tristan and say, hey, what'd you do in Georgia? Help me out here. And he was always there. He played both ways for us, offense and defensive line, and lineman of the year.
Okay. The second to last word here is offensive excellence. For us as coaches, it's a tough decision, I think, to come with pick his player. In our offense, when it worked, it was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of points scored, and a lot of people contributed to that effort. And but if you take one for me, take one player out of those 11 that are on the field at the time, and our offense would be ineffective. And coaching this player for 2 years, I've really enjoyed it. Sharp, one of the toughest kids I've had the opportunity to coach in all my sports. And I'm going to miss coaching them, but offensive excellence goes to Brad.
Don't make me yell. Okay, the last award tonight is the team MVP. I had a funny little story, but Coach Dave kind of ruined it. Back in the spring, I was at a coaches meeting at a pizza parlor, and all the coaches were there from all the different divisions, and there was a list of kids that were not assigned to a team. And they were asking, is anybody interested in this kid? Is anybody interested in this kid? And the president of the organization, he wasn't supposed to, but he whispered, hey, that kid on the list there he's on YouTube. So I took my handy iPhone, I went into the bathroom. I pulled up the video, and I called Coach Dave from the bathroom stall. He came in, and I told him that I was busy. And I called Coach David, I said, you got to watch this. And he was a little late coming out, but he was certainly worth the wait. It was a pleasure to coach him. Even more a pleasure to watch, as he did so many things. Good for him.
Yeah, I remember, I think I was the next call from the stall, and Mike had me on YouTube, and I was literally yelling at him, you do whatever He was a showstopper, playmaker. He did things that I don't care how much rope you jump and weights you lift and all that. Sometimes you got something just a little bit different than anybody else out there. He was our Reggie Bush, so to say. He was such, things stick out in my mind. I remember the one play we were like fourth and like 15 or whatever. Hiked the ball over his head, went back another like 15 yards. In came 3 different guys. After he got done with his half-hour run, we gained like 25 yards. And I remember we had our other team, our rivals that were in the crowd, and they were all high-fiving and going crazy watching what he just did. And that kind of just sums him up. I used to kind of joke around with the guys and say, Gavin, if you could do me a favor, I need cable to be hooked up to my house, and I need my floors retiled, and after you're done with that, because there really wasn't anything he couldn't do. Go paint a house, whatever. Anyways, he was that guy. He was a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. He excels at a lot of sports, so it'll be interesting to see which way he goes. But he was our team MVP, and Gavin Burger. So real quickly, want to do a huge special thanks right now to a gal that did so much for our team, took on so much responsibility as our team mom, and she just did so many great things, from the emails, the rosters, the texting, getting with every one of our coaches, making sure everybody knew what was going on at all times, bringing food when there wasn't supposed to be food, treats, whatever you want to call them. She was definitely, when you say team mom, she was a heck of a team mom, and we got her a couple small things, and that's Nicole. Okay, I know we're going to get the team video queued up right now. We're kind of a highlight thing, so we'll get that there. So we'll say maybe a 2-minute break.